really, like, I was tuned in for that. I was tuned into the idea of villains and people acting horribly. And I felt that film did a better job of that.
It's interesting you talk about this now because I have a very similar childhood experience.
Right.
I don't know if you know who this is, because this is, Americans do, but the Son of Sam was this,
Yeah, right.
you know who that is?
Similar thing.
Yeah, he killed people very close to where I grew up, and multiple times in our neighborhood, very
Right.
close to it.
Same here, yeah.
And I remember being terrified of, you know, shadowy figures at night, you know, is it, you know, Son of Sam, you know, David Berkowitz running around in Italy. I have a very similar kind of terror, actually. It's sort of weirdly, actually, I still have it in some sense.
No, and dare I say, I see it in your movies.
You know, well,
And the idea, like, if you and me were caught in a different art theoretical moment, we wouldn't really be able to explore that, or we might feel limited to explore that. If you're in film, you might, you know, to be in a meaningful sort of place where you could get funding and dialogue, you might have had a whole different baggage, or if you've gone through school and you wanted to be radical, you would have had to associate with movement. They might not have let you properly do that.
Right.
And one of the things I noticed often about that 60s generation, by the way, just jumping back to the radical thing, often a lot of them would suddenly discover that they wanted to go back to very traditional modes. You see that a lot. These guys who do this unbelievably radical stuff, and then you suddenly find out they're like doing life drawing at 70, you know, and they're like, it's true, you know, the figure matters. But I felt that film, and I knew a lot of those. I remember Jan Divitz, who's the great, you know, the creator of conceptual photography, really, was like, oh, thank God, you're doing these figures, and they got assholes, and they're fucked up, and they're violent. Thank God. I can't look at another, like, you know, antiseptic photograph. I created this monster that I hate, you know. He was kind of like, thank God.
Why do we return to it? Why do we return to the figure? Why?
I returned to the figure because it was clear to me that it needed, I needed it.
Well, why do artists, you see that
Because
are committed
because
to
we,
abstract?
for the same reason, our experience is defined by the body. And we deal with that sometimes, and we don't deal with that sometimes. And I believe, my theory is, which is perhaps really wafer thin, but it sounds good, call it out, is as we're becoming more and more digitalized and desensitized to experience, and to our bodies in a weird way, I think I crave, I almost have this need to search out that body experience. And I feel that I don't mind, I mean, I've got no baggage, by the way. Like, if someone comes and is like, I'm doing a whole project about economic systems, and this is my art project, I'm like, fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's great. But what I feel is needed, again, is that we're reminded we're in a body. And we're reminded how vulnerable that is. And we're reminded that we love, and we feel loss, and we're confused, and we're trying to navigate, and I feel that it's very, very important that humankind is reminded of that by art, by music, by film.
Well, I was very, very cynical about discussions where they say, you know, the digital age has brought X, Y, and Z, because, you know, I find that things don't really change very much.
Right.
But I'm revising that because I've been reading about how people really don't have sex as much as they used to, apparently.
Yeah, right, yeah.
They don't, because they feel maybe that need weirdly is going away with the digital age.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you see it in other periods in human history that...
Do you?
Yeah, totally.
Where?
There are periods of extreme prudishness.
Oh, I see.
Right? And where sort of I think all periods, you know, people have, you know, sex.
But is it prudishness, or is it just that they find pleasure in other ways that are not connected to the body?
I think humans go through this odd dance with their own bodies and with their own life experiences. And I think that it makes sense to me that in a highly digitalized thing, that your body would kind of disappear. So the idea that you're going to actually interact with someone and put part of your body in them, it's kind of odd, right? Now, I want to use another film thing.
Well, that's very optimistic, though. It sounds like you think it's going to make a comeback, this sex.
Of course it is. I by. I mean, until we truly destroy the planet, this is another topic. But anyway, the sun was going to blow up anyway, right? And don't they say that? So I always think, going to film, right? I saw 2001. And you know what I love about film, you know what I love about filmmakers? I'm going to really give this to filmmakers. I think they do something great. Filmmakers get a bad rap, you know, it's like the economic reason. But they do this fantastic thing, which is when they're good, they slip in really subversive stuff into a mass consciousness, right? And that's fabulous. Artists used to kind of be able to do it. Now we kind of can't. We kind of have to, we have to do this trickle-down thing still. But filmmakers could do it, or certainly in periods of film they could do it.
Periods.
So I'm some young dude in Leeds, and I heard 2001 was a sci-fi movie. And I'd already seen Star Wars, so I presumed it was kind of like Star Wars. I was like, okay, cool, right? So I sit and watch 2001, right? And one of the great things about having a really sort of broken up family is I watch lots of inappropriate films with older siblings. You know,
me too.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at like 9.
I got you beat, buddy. I saw Cruising at age 11.
Yeah, no, I know. Mona saw In the Realm of the Senses with her mom at like
That's always a nice kids film.
Yeah, it's a good one. Anyway, I saw this film, 2001, and sat there like, and by the way, I remember experiencing like, I didn't really know what film could do to you. I still don't really know what film could do to you. It's, like you said, it's pretty new. This combination of things ends up on a moving thing in darkness, all this stuff. But it did something weird to me. And I, as a sculptor, on some weird level, and it manifested decades later, I understood that there's this monolith, right? And when the iPod arrived, right, I was kind of ready for it. Because this is kind of the iPod, right? It's an Apple. This could be an Apple ad in a weird way, right?
Well, very shamelessly, by the way.
I'm sure they did.
There was iPads. He stole the design from 2001.
Right. Oh, yeah, right. And in turn, I mean, if you look in this show, this Renaissance show, the way architecture is represented is not that different. The way the church is represented, architecture often looks like stark, monolithic, like all this. So I always felt I was the monkey, the ape. Always. And I remember arriving in London and having this, I saw these sort of people influenced by minimalism and John McCracken and this whole movement, right? And I wanted to make things like that, right? That was what was coming. And I saw that like the ape. I felt like I'd made the ape. So for me, that idea of this primordial, like, being that's also human, right? That's also true about us. I felt that lived in sync with this image.
I guess not totally different from this. It's so interesting.
That's what's so great.
Well, one of the.
And by the way, your image, James, that you picked, and you, by God, you should get one image because I.
No, I don't care. No, this is not.
No.
This is fun.
No, but let me pull up your image so it's really. Oh, where is your image from 2001? This one.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the image that you just showed with the monolith. First of all, I think one of the funniest things ever is in this movie. And I saw the film recently in the theater with my son Henry, who's here. We saw it 70 millimeter, the cinematography, Hollywood. And the black monolith is sitting on the moon being dug up, and these astronauts go down and they see it, and they decide they're going to take a picture. And the guy goes like this to get all the astronauts into the picture. And I start laughing my head off. Nobody else is laughing, but the idea that in the face of something like that, people need to take a Kodak moment, you know, I thought it was pretty genius. But when I see the image of the monolith with the ape, I see a fantasy, really. And I don't mean that we don't have black slabs appearing in the street all the time. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, it's in a certain way a cheat. Because are there good aliens or are there bad aliens? Well, the good aliens, and they're promising you bullshit, a false god that's going to save you, right? End of Close Encounters. Dun, 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 you walk off, yay, fine. Bad aliens, that's like a 1950s, like, you know,
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, George Powell, you know, something like that.
Right.
And Kubrick got around it, just said it's neither or it's both, it's whatever you want to project onto black slab.
Right.
You know, go answer that motherfucker.
Well, for me, what I'm saying is the black slab is clearly our collective fantasy about progress.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's my point. So that, in a way, it's a kind of a cheat because it's him not having, it's Kubrick not having to declare himself. By the way, I think the movie's incredible. I'm not bad enough 2001. But I'm saying it's his way of having not to declare himself in that way. This image I chose because this felt like this is who we are, this is who we were, this is who we will be. Talk about timeless, you know. I'm sitting there trying to, like, you know, use the pestle and mortar to make my pesto. It's not much different than this guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So I just felt this was a universal thing as opposed to some, frankly, fantastical black monolith thing.
But that's what I'm saying. I lived in a moment where to be an artist, you were more engaged in the fantastical monolith thing as an idea of progression. In a weird way, minimalism taken really, really shallowly, and which it then jumped into showrooms around the world and as a form of selling furniture, is the idea of the removal of the body. There's no sweat in minimalism, there's no excrement in minimalism, there's no failure. Space is beautifully ordered, and it's all true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. I mean, you know, hey, I get it. It's fantastic. But my experience of being in a body is more, like you said, this.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still trying to make sense of it. I mean, I'm 46, and I'm still kind of going, oh my God, I still do stuff like that. I mean, when I make sculpture, when I'm working in clay, I am literally like, that's more sophisticated than me. Something comes out of me when I'm working in clay that is horrifying. And I'll show an image. We did the latest piece that I worked on is a collaboration me and Mona did, which is going to be shown in Paris for the first time. And these are Mona's images of this, and I'm showing this to make that point. So I should say that these are raw images. We're not really meant to show them, but there's not that many people, and so I'm gonna catch. So when I make sculpture, right, I often.
I'm sorry, close enough to show it.
Yeah, I know, James. I know that's past.
I'm kidding. Some jokes are just for me.
When I make sculpture, if you give me a couple of days, I've always ended up doing stuff kind of like that. And Mona's watched me do this, like the Rockefeller, the big masks I showed you. I sort of discovered, because there were such huge faces, I was making them flat on the floor, I would leap, I'd be up on a ladder to look at them, and it would bring out this, like, and I would jump in it, and I would jump in the clay, and sort of wade around it, my footprints would be in it. And that activity is almost like primordial, like I put my hand in the clay and it imprinted. I got a hand. This kind of stuff, sculpture kind of brings out in the maker, or in me. So as I worked on these, for the first time as I made this thing, Mona was photographing me making it. And I was going for it. This one, I was like, I'm actually gonna fully invest in the madness of making something out of clay. I'm gonna really let it go, really let go the things I've always kind of wanted to do or do, right? And that, it's kind of weird when you spend a day doing that kind of thing. And I'll move off this image. And this has, by the way, 60s performance art stuff in it. It has Eve Klein with the bodies and the whole bit. But it's also really what I like to do when I make art. In some way, I'll never forget watching you film Astra, right? And there's all this technology and all these people and people bringing you stuff, and discussions about points and stuff. And then when it was right, you get this strange giggle, You know what I'm talking about, right, Ali? Like, like this crazy, like,